Well, hello there, Kansas City. Stephen St. John here with the latest episode of Hot Mic with SSJ. I know that we have not had many episodes as of late. Why? Because I had back surgery and I've been fucked up. And so we decided to give me some time off, let me recuperate, so I could stop walking like there's a board shoved up my ass. But still, I'm hurting. I don't feel great right now. I've been here for about 5 hours, 6 hours today. I want to go home. We just did a wonderful video with our friends from Spice and Foods. And so Marco is going to sit here. He hasn't had lunch, and he's just going to eat the delicious salsas and pepper jellies from Spice and Foods and watch us. Let him watch. Let him learn. And he will, and he'll maybe have a comment. But as you can see, I have my fine feathered friend Todd Lebo here, who's too busy looking at prison reviews on Yelp, and we have.
Do not ask.
He really is.
Right.
He's giving us the star rating system on different prisons.
We have,
Do not ask, sir.
We have our soccer insider Nate Bucati, who's with us. But first,
Nick Buckley.
that's right. I would love to. For some reason, before the podcast, I was doing my Mason Verger impersonation, played by Gary Oldman from Hannibal, when he was ordering around his able assistant Cordell. Cordell,
I thought it was going to be Cardell Jones.
Cordell, could you please wipe the rim of my penis, Cordell?
Is that how that's been at home for you?
Maybe.
With this,
Yeah.
when you...
Susan, could you assist me in wiping my giant ass?
Did you, they did remove the board from your ass, right?
Yeah, well, sometimes I
You're
feel
walking around.
Sometimes I feel like they shoved it up further. Lebo, to be
A
honest
couple
with
weeks ago, he came kind of spryly in, kind of walking. Today I come in
He's
here.
not spry.
By the way,
He's running. He's
Let me tell you something.
He's struggling.
That was before the end of the hydrocodone for me.
the waning off
that's
of the
off.
medicine.
Now the gabapentin, we're starting to stagger it off and like
Gabagool.
Right, that's exactly right. That's why I need my great friends from CBD American Shaman. No shit. I use so many products. Our man Jamie from CBD American Shaman has sent me at least 3 care packages so I could get just fucking blasted out of my mind.
It's not what it's for.
Well, it's for me to help my back.
It's healing.
It's a healing properties.
Yeah.
Okay?
You look, actually, when you
spinal.
walk through the hall, you look like kind of a walk of shame thing. Someone who really got worked over pretty good on a Saturday night.
Let me tell you something. I only fucking wish. Trust me. I would apologize for that. Hey, I'm a little hard up. You saw when Shane Summers walked by, I asked him for hand relief.
And he said, yes, sir.
And he walked off. Yeah, man.
He rolled his eyes and stormed off.
Here's the deal. If you don't ask, how's it ever going to happen?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Shoot your shot, son.
You miss 100% of the
anyway,
shots you don't
CBD's
take.
the best.
CBD American Shaman, they offer me relief in other ways. Also, KC Grilling Company, KCGrillingCo.com, rubs and seasonings, barbecue sauces. I had 3 injections into my back. They have different injections and marinades for your meat, although I don't know how that worked. I should have went out to KC Grilling Company and got injected. Grills and smokers, outdoor kitchens, they got it all out in Olathe at KC Grilling Company. And, of course, how could I forget Patrick Carter, my main man, KCFarmersAgent.com. You do not want a 1-800 number with some fucker in New York trying to tell you about what you need for insurance, okay? And he don't know shit. What you want is Patrick Carter, who's right in this city.
Yep.
And he knows exactly what, trust me, he knows what you need, and he will give it to you very well. Patrick Carter, I'm just trying to tell people how good you are. KCFarmersAgent.com, Patrick Carter, very pleased with his sponsorship of Hot Mic with SSJ. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I don't know if you've heard, but the World Cup's getting ready to start. Mm-hmm. And it's a big deal for a lot of people.
America is in it.
Unlike last time.
8 years.
I enjoy the World Cup, okay? I'm not a 24/7 soccer fan, okay? Sometimes I'll watch, sometimes I won't. I try, though. But like when it's the World Cup, you can't get away from it. And so try to be a part of it.
Yes.
Enjoy it. And there's some people that
Don't fight it.
The World Cup will make them a soccer fan. That's happened with a lot of people.
Yes.
And then, because, am I wrong? Doesn't soccer get a boost, and maybe there's some fans that aren't fans will become bigger fans?
I mean, that was really when I became a diehard soccer fan, was the 06 World Cup.
Right. Like
I just got swept up in it, and then I wanted to watch all the other stuff.
Right. So maybe some people in Kansas City fall in love with the World Cup, and then, now I want to watch sporting.
Yeah.
Or they see some players they recognize, whatever, okay? And so I thought, like, maybe there's some people in my boat, like, I'd like to watch this. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And so then I said, hey, Nate, why don't you dumb it down a little bit, okay, and just give us a World Cup for Dummies podcast.
Yeah.
Just so people can listen to it and help out.
Cliff's Notes.
Keep beating. What are you fucking just standing there for?
Dummy,
You're here
this
to
is
eat.
for you.
All right? He had to reach over. He had to do the old reach around here. And so, and Lebo,
Some of that
you're
cream.
But you're not Nate Bucati soccer,
I really
but
enjoy
you're
the
ahead
World
of me
Cup.
in soccer.
Yeah,
You're in
yeah,
there.
for sure.
Marco
Love it.
played soccer. He's standing here with a Kansas City Current shirt, eating salsa and cream cheese from Spicy Foods. So he loves it. And I know you're excited. Okay, so let's just start with what we need to know first about the United States. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they didn't make it last year, and you were fucked up.
Oh, man.
Right?
That was
Scale of 1 to
devastating.
10, how fucked up were you?
10 and a half.
He was a
at
10.
That's been one of your biggest sporting disappointments of your adult life.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that was absolutely brutal.
Okay, so now you're happy.
Yes.
Okay, so first tell me, so how many teams are in the World Cup?
Well, 32.
And don't fucking make fun of questions. I'm trying to ask questions for people that don't
Make fun of
know.
myself for not
By the
knowing
way, all of
answer.
these answers are going to be gone for next time. It's going to be different when it's
but
in
the most
America.
reasonable, easy question, it almost fucking stumped him
It
right off the
did.
bat. So maybe we need to get somebody else for this podcast.
That's true.
So 32.
Yeah, the reason that it stumped me is because it's going to increase next World Cup
But
in
right
4
now
years.
it's 32.
Right now it's 32.
Just give me an idea, where is the United States ranked in of those 32 teams?
So there is actually an official FIFA ranking, which
But is it bullshit?
it's bullshit.
Okay, so I don't want to hear
Yeah.
that. I want to hear you.
I would put them somewhere right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. upper
Okay,
middle.
so like,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
this was the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament, what kind of seed are you looking at? Because an 8-9 seed may not have a great chance of going to the Final Four or winning it. Like what kind of seed? If I could try to
They'd
make
be
that
like that.
relatable, is that
They're
fun?
they're like a 4 or 5.
Okay, so that's not crazy.
Yeah.
They're 4 or 5. Okay, 4 or 5
Yeah.
seeds.
Yeah.
See, I'm not trying to make it sense to myself. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what you've got is 8 groups of 4. That's how you get the math
Sure.
of 32.
Okay, now who are they in the group
And
with?
the top 2 teams from each group advance.
Okay, who's in their group?
England, Wales, and Iran.
Okay, so England's the best out of that group,
Yes.
right? How much better are they than the United States?
Plenty.
How big of a gap? He says plenty.
Plenty.
Say Harry Kane like you do for other people.
Harry Kane.
I
Okay.
hate that son of a bitch.
Why do you hate him?
He plays for Tottenham. You know,
You gotta put that away now.
You have to explain more what that
the team
means.
that I cheer for in England is Arsenal.
Yeah, but those don't matter anymore. Now it's all for your country.
Yeah, right.
Can't you
but-
put that away?
No.
So
well,
you-
I don't want anybody for England
but
to play
you-
well.
well,
Even if
but
an
you-
American
guys that
guy
play
played for. I mean,
Arsenal.
Christian Pulisic plays for
I would
fucking
cheer-
Chelsea,
I would
and you
cheer-
might cheer for
yeah,
him.
yeah.
So you need to get off Harry Kane's
But
ass.
you hate
Well, no,
Harry
because
Kane.
he's playing for England. I get to hate him even
Okay.
more now.
But you hate him for who he plays for. He hasn't done nothing. He's not a bad guy.
No, he's a good man.
He dives all the time. He's a cheating flopper. Anyways,
So here's the weird part. You
but
gotta think
so
about.
What's the gap?
So the
What's
gap,
the
the
gap?
gap is somewhat significant. England made it to the European Championship last summer.
And
They
failed
lost
at
in
their
the
own
they lost in the
stadium.
championship game, but they did make it. They
missed those
have a
penalty
lot
kicks?
of massive talent, but
Did any Arsenal guys miss penalty kicks to fail in their own?
this is soccer for dummies.
I
He
don't
doesn't
know what that
you're talking
means, but
about.
that appeared to piss you off.
It just is a little
And
bit.
then all
of
the
a joke.
racist England fans abused him racially after he missed
shit.
it.
Don't,
too,
don't
so-
put that on me.
Well, you were the one that brought it up,
I brought
Mr.
up that
White guy with
Arsenal
bald head
failed.
So
over
how
there.
big of a gap between England and the United States?
I don't think it's as big as Todd's saying. I think that actually when they play each other on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, I think the United States has a decent chance to get a result against them. But England is England's top. People might say they're top 5.
Okay, they're the best.
Yeah.
And so then how big of a gap is it between the United States and Wales, their first opponent?
So not much at all, according to the odds makers.
According to you.
In fact, the last round of odds maker, or the last round of odds I saw, had United States with a slightly higher chance of bowing out in the group stage than Wales.
Yeah, Wales has one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, Gareth Bale.
He's
the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And
he won the MLS Cup, right?
Yeah, he won the MLS
goal.
Cup with that header.
Now he's 32. He's not quite what he used to be, but
he can rise to the occasion.
He's still phenomenal. And the whole reason he was in MLS was because he came over here because he could tell LAFC exactly how many minutes he wanted to play every game
to be ready to go.
Most teams wouldn't go for something like that, so he could work himself into the perfect amount of shape for the World Cup.
So this is important, though, for people that don't know who he is.
Yeah.
That's a guy that has a history of making unbelievable goals on the biggest stage, right?
Yes.
He's like Mr.
MLS,
Clutch.
Mr. Clutch in the biggest games in the
Champions
world.
League.
Yeah.
So if it's a 1-1 tie between the United States and England,
mark that fucker.
Or the United States and Wales, you better watch this motherfucker in the 82nd minute.
And the thing to know about Wales is this is the first time they have qualified for the World Cup since 1958.
Now the weird part is here. You think, why does Wales have their own team? Okay, because we think of Great Britain is Great Britain. So
the King of England now, or whatever his name, whatever he is,
Charles
Prince. I thought it was Philip.
Don't get him started. He hates royalty. He hates all that shit.
You'll love this part. He's the Prince of Wales.
Right.
That's his title, and he's openly cheering for England. So everybody in Wales is like, "Screw this guy," you know.
How come he's not cheering for Wales?
Well, because
it's all
dumb.
So it's called imperialism.
And there's a team from England, and there's a team from Scotland, and there's a team from Wales, and this Wales finally made
and
it.
Northern Ireland has its own team.
And they did not make it, right?
Northern Ireland just Wales and England.
So it wouldn't be like a gigantic upset if they beat the U.S.
No, not at all. In fact, it might be. They might be slightly favored.
Okay, so then what about Iran?
Iran is the last team in the group in that regard, and that would be a big upset. It's the World Cup, and so they have some really, really good players for Iran. The thing that they've got to deal with is there is all kinds of massive political unrest in Iran right now, and the players have been somewhat involved. It's a women's rights thing that's going on over there in part, and a few of the players have come out in support of the protesters. What is it, like 15,000 people have been imprisoned and all that stuff. And so there was reportedly pressure from the government to not put those players on the team. So, and what we've seen in the past, this happens sometimes in the World Cup because sometimes a team gets into the World Cup and there's a huge civil war going on in their country. That affects the players a lot of times. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how that affects Iran.
Okay.
I think the other three teams would be disappointed if they lost a game to Iran. It may not be the end of the world if you draw, but I think all the other three teams would be disappointed if they actually lost their group stage game.
So based from the outside looking in, everyone expects England to advance. Nobody expects Iran to advance. And then it's a 60-40 toss-up, 50-50 toss-up between the U.S. and Wales?
55-45 maybe?
So it's that close. Okay.
Yeah, maybe 60,
so there's real intrigue here.
Yes, and that's the first game. That's the
When
game
is that?
on Monday at 1 o'clock.
Set the stage, right?
Central time?
Yeah,
Okay,
Central time.
Don't give me no shit. I want to know when it's here.
We talk America times.
Monday,
Right.
1 o'clock Central
America.
time. And by the way, go online, sportingkc.com, and download your free tickets to the watch party. You got to have tickets
Where's it
to
at?
the watch party in the P&L, like the ones you and I hosted back in 2014.
What asshole they got emceeing this thing this year?
It's me and Hartzell Gray and Ali Trost.
Three assholes.
Martin,
two assholes and a really nice lady.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
No, but
so
all of the
watch
American
that, 'cause
games are at 1. That's perfect for us. You have to get up at 4 in the morning or anything like that. 1 o'clock, all three games, which is cool.
The consensus is by far the biggest game out of the three group games for the U.S. is that game against Wales, the very first game coming up on
you
Monday.
alluded to this, but then who's going to be like who's Vegas going to say who's going to be the betting favorite
of the group or the whole thing?
of that match on Monday?
I think that's fascinating. I think it's going to be kind of one of the. It might be a pick 'em.
Who would you make it? What would you make? I know what you want, but if you're being
I would
honest,
make the United States a slight favorite.
Okay.
A very slight favorite.
Do you agree with that?
So
Leeds?
if
I'm
you
going to go to DraftKings.com.
But I'm asking you what you think
right now. Probably.
What do you think? Who do you think's going to win?
I think America's going to win.
Okay, then you think America should be the favorite?
I do.
Okay.
USA. Ooh, this is. Let's see here. It's hard to understand.
Let's see if
The
Marco will
while
gamble on
he's
this
looking,
during the
I'll fill
podcast.
time
The
while
money
he's-
line is USA plus 155. Wales is plus 205. A draw is plus 150. No draw bet. So America's a slight favorite. Okay. Yeah. Slight favorite.
And if you look at where the players that are on the United States teams play their professional soccer, they're at the bigger clubs right now, having more success than the players that play for Wales. So the roster, if you just look at the roster, and sometimes teams will do that, it's like they'll look at how much each player's worth. The roster that the United States has is more valuable than the roster that Wales has, but it's not always about that. It's about organization, how
chemistry,
you play, all
everything.
that stuff.
Okay, and so I always like when the media labels a group the group of death. Is there a group? Who's the group of death this year?
Who did they say is a group of death? Lebo? I don't.
There's always got to be one, right?
Yeah.
I know that Spain and Germany are in the same group.
That's a group of death.
But Costa Rica and Japan, maybe it's not.
Japan's actually much better than people realize.
And then we've got.
I got
the
3
other
guys
group
looking for the
that
group of death.
has,
I like this.
Here we go. What's the one that's got France in it too? Well, nah.
Honestly, I think Argentina, Mexico, and Poland.
Oh, that's pretty good.
With Saudi Arabia, that's.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any.
Mexico's going to get fucked again, aren't they?
Mexico, Poland's going to be that's everybody thinks Argentina's going to win that group. So it's between Mexico and Poland as to who's
a little bit like
me versus you,
but
buddy.
I'm sorry, just off to the side. Is Mexico all in fucking disarray or whatever?
Yes, yeah, they seem to be in disarray right now. Tata Martino is their coach. He seems to be almost like he's not even interested right now.
L3 is not going to.
But you never know. Maybe they catch. It's all going to come down. Honestly, it's them and Poland. And Poland screws. They suck at the World Cup every time. I know because I cheer for Poland.
Another group is interesting.
Do the players have like their pants backward into that?
Yeah, they try to score on their own goal all the time.
No, the stadium's that way.
Belgium is very good.
They keep using their hands all the time.
Belgium is very good, right?
Yep.
And Croatia is always sneaky good, and they're in a group with Canada. Canada's
okay.
Canada surprised a lot of people in qualifying.
They're just so fucking polite to everyone. They're
not going to get to play on ice.
So
like
if you watch Canada, the thing to pay
games.
attention to there, they have a player named Alphonso Davies, who was actually the best player in the entire region, like better than any of the guys that play for the U.S. or anything. He plays for Bayern Munich, the biggest club in Germany. He's a son of an African immigrant. Grew up in Canada. They have a few kids like that on their team. They have talent. They have speed in the attack. I think Canada could be a little bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, they were really good in qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing some of the games on ice up there in Canada. It was wild. This will not be on ice. This is going to be dry in many ways in Qatar.
Very hot.
Because it's going to be hot and dry. And then you see the announcement today was no beer sales.
Yeah, so dry in that regard too.
At the arenas, which was supposed to be kind of ironed out, and now they're not having beer in the actual stadiums, unless you're in a suite, of course. So that's probably not going to go over well with some of the folks who like to go do that. I don't know. Nate, what do you think? People go to the World Cup because they go to the World Cup, and this is what Qatar wanted this for. They wanted the people to come see their country and be a catalyst for growth for them to, like, the Western world or whatever. But are people going?
The ticket sales are going pretty well, from what I understand.
How much is like an average ticket to go to the World Cup?
I just saw the other day that the average ticket for the finals $812.
That's not bad.
Which isn't that bad, but that's going to be. But you got to think that'll increase.
But like if some guy in fucking Kansas City wanted to go to this, how much would it cost? Like,
to fly over there? Well,
so one of the things that they've got going on, they've had to build these kind of pop-up cities. Some people are jokingly calling this the Fire Festival World Cup.
See, but like the shit you were telling me, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking go there.
No. Honestly, like, I looked at this one. I really want to go to a World Cup someday in another country.
But not
this
there.
one.
Right.
I mean, if somebody wanted to pay me to go for work, I would do it.
But there's horrible shit that's going on here leading up to this, right?
Yes,
well, the country itself is, it's just a different culture over there. The country is nice and modern and new and clean, but they built these stadiums on the backs of basically subservient labor that they got from other countries.
And thousands of them died, right?
Well, they'll say 3. There's some debate
What do you
about
say?
that.
Well,
Thousands.
I spoke with Grant Wall yesterday, who I think is a very respected journalist from here in Kansas City. He went months and months ago to interview migrant workers and did a big piece on it. He told me the number they believe is between 6,000 and 7,000. Now, that wasn't all just building stadiums, because they've had to build cities. They literally have had to build cities there to get this thing ready. And I know the accommodations, like, they basically look like little box cars that then have a little bed and a window and a door for you that you could stay in for $700 a night. If you're a fan.
I'm going to show you a little thing here.
Hey, we're on the podcast. I guess that's okay.
You can't understand how small this country is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hold this right here, Ben.
I just see the back of your phone.
That is the state of Missouri. So basically, if you go up to about Highway 36 and down to, south of Cass County and just squeeze out to about Warrensburg, that's all the bigger Qatar is.
All of the venues are within a 45-minute drive.
He says Qatar, you say Qatar.
I think it's Qatar,
You're
but I
supposed
don't
to say
know.
I would call it Qatar. This is a little bitty nipple in the Arabian Sea is what this is. Okay, now you want to have some fun.
Have you heard that? Have you heard
a protuberance
described as a nipple before?
No, this is the first time.
This is good stuff. You have to use that.
But the United, and ironic because the United States left Paul Arriola off their team.
Wow. They left him off, and they should have.
I'm looking at.
So this is not like. I mean, listen, we don't know enough about the rest of the world. Okay, we just don't as Americans. We know that
I don't know enough about Olathe.
A war in the Middle East. Several times we've gone over and done this stuff. If you asked almost anyone on the street in America and you gave them a map of the world and said point to Qatar with no labels on it, you would not get anyone who would have known anything until they got this World Cup. They're trying to do this now. There's a great series on Netflix.
Well, fuck, Marco doesn't even know where Mississippi is.
I know. Well,
you told me where those total sugars were on here. I can't even.
They are. This isn't Saudi Arabia. It's a little different feel there. It's not what's going on in Iran. They like to think they're a little more progressive than some of those places. But there are things like we're not going to have alcohol here. We're not going to do this. We don't have enough labor to go build these stadiums. We got the World Cup given to us for paying or however they got it. I mean, this Netflix thing is really good. It's called FIFA Corrupted.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of it on my flight back from Denver.
It's really cool, and it
really
goes through how, we all thought America was going to have this World Cup, or England. It was going to be England and America in 18 and 22. Didn't happen. And so we know precious little about Qatar, okay? There's a lot of it that's modernized and all this stuff, but this is not... This is not what we're used to.
No, and I talking to Grant Wall
Europe.
about it, he said that his first day there, he was in a media center, and there was a slogan, like the slogan for the Qatar World Cup, and I can't remember what the slogan is, but he saw it, so he took his phone out to take a picture of it, and a security guard came up to him and said, "Hey, no photos here." He said, "This is the media center.
Yeah.
What do you mean?" And he said, "Kindly delete that from your phone." And they had a little bit of a stare down, but then the security guard ended up backing off. And what Grant Wall's saying is going to be really interesting once all these thousands and thousands of people come there. Well, and one of the big issues, and the United States has gotten involved in this, is the LGBTQ plus community. It's illegal to be homosexual or to live an alternative lifestyle like that.
Dipping their toe into being
Qatar.
Western, but they're not.
Yeah,
they're not there.
And there's reports of them imprisoning and torturing.
Yeah.
People from that community so that they will rat out other people. And so like the United States has been wearing, so certain teams have been doing these kind of protests. I think it's the Danish team. They don't have their logo on their jerseys for this World Cup. And their point is, we don't want our logo on this because we don't want to be an advertisement for this. The United States, with their American flag logo, they've been wearing a lot of American flag logos where the stripes are the colors of the rainbow in support of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, you can read that story. Grant has it on his Substack, so you can go check the thing out.
But what Grant told me that he's interested in is, okay, so far the Qatari government has said we're not going to punish any signs of protest. If somebody wants to wear the rainbow flag on their shirt or carry a rainbow flag in the stadiums, they're not going to punish it. But they also said they were going to sell beer in the stadium.
And now they're not.
Then 2 days before the World Cup, they just changed their mind. So it's going to be interesting.
How did they get the fucking World Cup to begin with? What the fuck?
It's called bags of money.
Well, and some of it's not maybe necessarily just, there have been many just cash votes for FIFA, but this stuff is way above just cash votes. You watch this documentary, and it's like all of a sudden they're selling all their oil and natural gas to Taiwan. Okay, so that's more than just here's $1 million.
But
for
also
a vote.
the guy that voted for it from the CONCACAF region and has control of all the votes is being prosecuted in the United States because he took $5 million allegedly from the Qatari government for his vote. That's just a flat-out cash bribe. That's what it is.
And that's what happened with Russia as well. I mean, Russia's got horrible human rights things, and like I said, when you watch some of the stuff on this Netflix thing, there are some people who are very sophisticated and they want to kind of think Western a little bit, but they're not all the way there because they have all these human rights issues built in the stadiums. They have this alternative lifestyle stuff, and they border Saudi Arabia, which is worse, whatever, I guess, than Qatar is. But the whole thing
is an awful fucking place.
I don't know if Qatar is an awful place. It's probably if you
kind of fucking seems like it to me,
if
Todd.
you're not gay or a woman, it's probably great. I don't know, but it's
well, yeah. So
but that's how a lot of this stuff
if
is.
you're not
I think that's a fucking awful place.
Well, I don't. Here's the deal: they wouldn't give this to Iran or Iraq So it's a step up from those things. The UAE and Dubai, where a lot of this that's really kind of westernized over there with these modern cities. They built those islands and all that stuff. It's not far from there. I think they fancy themselves like a wannabe United Arab Dubai or something like that, and they're not quite there. I'll be very interested to watch Fox's coverage of this when you're watching the games.
They have flat out said they're not going to get into any of the non-soccer stuff. They're going to leave that to everybody else.
Yeah,
and they have a very heavy economic invested reason in not doing
There will be no man on the street. Hey, let's go see what life's like in Qatar. You won't see that stuff.
But there are
no
plenty
featurettes.
But there are plenty of journalists there, like Grant Wall, who are going to do real journalism.
Unless they get their
so that's the dirty underbelly of this
Yep.
World Cup.
Yep.
So let's try to bring this full circle and get back to what we're actually going to see on the coverage. Okay, so I'm looking at ESPN.com's top 50 players in this World Cup, and there's no one from the United States. Is that accurate? Is that what you...
Well, I'd have to go through all, 50
Well, do you think there's a top
list.
50?
Who's their number one?
Guess.
Got to be Lionel Messi.
Nope, he's number 4.
Oh, yeah, it's
In your face.
Frenchman.
Mbappe?
Kylian Mbappe.
That's number 1. Who's number 2?
Should be Messi.
Who's number 2?
Messi's getting old.
Who's number 2?
Harry Kane, maybe?
No. Who?
Neymar?
Same team.
Oh, the Frenchie?
Paul Pogba?
No.
Giroud?
Not Giroud.
Is their goalkeeper?
Is it Kareem Benzema?
Yes.
He's getting old too, by the way.
Who's number 3?
Yeah.
This is hard for me.
Belgium.
De Bruyne?
Yeah. Who's number 4? Messi.
Yeah.
And then number 5, you got to get this one. This is your guy, your hero, your favorite guy,
Lewandowski.
Poland. Come on.
Oh, Lewandowski.
Uh-huh. And then number 6 is Neymar. Number 7, oddly enough, Patrick Mahomes.
He did it. He did.
To me, I think he's
Mahomes
underrated.
played soccer.
Croatia.
Yeah, as Modric.
Okay.
Luka Modric.
Number 9 is from Brazil, Vinicius Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
And then that's it. But they don't have anyone.
He's junior.
Harry Kane's number 11.
Where do they put Ronaldo on there? He's in his 5th World Cup. Dude's getting old.
Nobody on his own team wants to talk to him.
No, they don't.
now.
Number 20.
Teams.
So here's the thing about the United States, Stephen. This team has more young talent playing at big clubs in Europe by far than any American team we've ever seen.
Ever.
So it's a high ceiling team,
yes,
but also a low floor.
But they're very young. Yeah, there's only one guy on the whole roster who's ever played in a World Cup. So they have no experience in the World Cup, but what they do have experience in is playing, and they've played against all these guys. All those guys that you just listed, most of these Americans have played against some of them.
In a club game or whatever,
in professional games and all that. So they're brash, they're young, they're confident. I'm kind of excited about what these guys can do.
So it's like a team that they don't have the experience, but they don't know what they don't know, and so maybe there's a chance they go in there without the weight of the world on their shoulders, just play free, and that's why what Matt Beasley said, they got such a high ceiling but also a low floor because
the weight of England on the English team is immense.
Oh fuck yeah!
Their media is just waiting for them to fail. Constantly.
I always look at who's their coach that I like.
Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, he just looks like he's always getting ready to fucking just crumble.
And they crumbled in that penalty kick thing. We were joking about that earlier, but they had the European Championship at their place.
But they always
that is so rare to get because it's like
and remember they rioted
whenever and I don't get kicked. Whenever they lose,
yes.
The fucking papers in England always have a giant picture of him, and he looks just fucking miserable.
Yeah,
and it's like failure. He's like,
That's actually what I for Sporting KC, I did an interview with Peter Vermees about it, and he said he likes the way the U.S. matches up with England because of exactly what you said. They got all the pressure in the world. Nobody expects the Americans
They're supposed
to do
to
anything.
beat the United States.
Yeah, but all these young guys that play for America, they play in England now, so they're not scared of these guys.
If the United States beat them, like what would the reaction be in England? They'd be fucked up, wouldn't they?
Everyone would be demanding that that the manager be sacked.
But he's good though. I like him. Is he not?
Well,
good?
he got them all. He got them to the European
Championship.
England has not had a ton of success on the international stage for a long time. So getting to the final the way that they did, they've had a lot of success, and they already are calling for him to be fired before the World Cup even started.
What would you rank? Are they top 5?
I think they're top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, they're up. I mean, they're expected to win this group. a lot. I mean, they're one of the top 5 favorites. I think
France
to
is
win the World
really,
Cup.
really good. I mean, they're still young. They're good.
The French.
They've got some guys injured. I think that France and Brazil have the 2 best rosters. When you look top to bottom at the rosters, they just got France and Brazil got talent all over
bring
the place.
Marco's sister in here.
And Belgium
real quick.
is
Come on in
always
here.
Belgium for a little country has really good players.
Marco, introduce your fucking sister live on the podcast right now. Marco, introduce
you don't
her.
need me to
I want
introduce
you to introduce her like a gentleman. Please introduce this wonderful young lady.
My hell of my world.
Whoa.
Little sister, Mia Falcon.
Okay, Mia, you're here to exchange cars with Marco.
Yes,
Please
I
explain that to the podcast listeners. What's going on here?
So my car right now is getting its tires changed.
Okay, new tires. It's very
tires.
smart, right? The timing is right for that before
Timing
the weather
is
hits.
indeed right.
Okay.
And I have a trip to take to St. Louis. It's my best friend's 21st this weekend.
Right.
So we got to
First beer ever for her?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a big party.
Yeah.
The
Very
Soulard
big.
District.
Sure.
Gonna get wild in the St. Louis, right?
Yes.
My best friend's an attorney in St. Louis, so let
Okay.
me know if you need any assistance.
That really
Right.
might come in handy after this
Okay.
weekend.
You're driving Marco's car to St. Louis?
Yes.
So we're doing.
I don't know. You
Okay,
think
so
that's
no,
worthy to go to St.
okay.
Louis?
Does Marco take good care of his car, or will
Oh,
it be
yeah.
filthy? Will it be
It needs gas.
weird things
It needs
under
gas.
the seat?
It needs gas. That's, of course, on me,
But like,
but-
there's nothing like if you and your friends get in there, you don't have to worry about them finding something crazy in the back seat or whatever.
No,
Don't
it just
look in the backseat.
yeah, no.
Whoa.
We might just need a couple air fresheners.
Okay,
but
yeah. There.
other
Oh,
than that-
wow. That's so. Are you a soccer fan?
Huh?
Do you like soccer?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the World Cup?
Yes.
Will you watch the World Cup?
Of course.
Okay, and do you believe the United States will advance out of their group stage?
Don't
Just
look
thinking
at me.
about it. No, we want to know from you.
Yes.
Just you, yes or no?
Yes.
There it is. Okay, I take her word for it over anyone else. Any final things you'd like to say to anyone listening out there?
Rock Chalk Go KO.
Wow, that was not what I was looking for.
That's really not
You
what
can now leave the studio. Mia,
welcome
we
back
appreciate
anytime.
that. Somehow the car exchange has gone smoothly as Mia makes her way to St. Louis. Please drive safely.
My favorite
Okay.
thing about Marco's car, the windshield wiper in the back, it's
Yep.
broken. It's just down below. I was thinking,
He's
you
got
need
an
to
old
go to
limp-
the
he's got the old
men's
limp
clinic.
Yeah,
He needs
yeah.
to-
he's got the old the limp
It's like
Yeah.
it's just dangling down here.
Do you
think
think
it
that
works.
says anything about him?
Well, he should be a young virile man, but apparently
Okay, so the betting
Bye-bye.
favorite. Bye bye, Mia. The betting favorite is France.
I
Or
think,
no?
I think it's France or Brazil.
Okay, France or Brazil. Okay,
Yeah.
Give me because I don't know if you know this, but we can gamble legally
Yeah.
on DraftKings Sportsbook, and Marcus just dropped something. He startled
so
himself
nervous.
there. DraftKings Sportsbook in the state of Kansas. Give me a dark horse, like outside the top 5 or whatever. Give me a long shot besides the United States that maybe I want to throw $20, $30, $50 down on. Give me something. Give someone out there a little rooting interest here.
Yeah, I don't know if Belgium would be
Okay.
considered.
I would call them a dark horse. I'll read
horse.
you out the odds here.
Okay.
Here they are in
What is
order:
it?
Brazil, Argentina, France, Spain, England, Germany, Netherlands, Portugal, Belgium.
What's
so
the
that's
odds?
like
What's that?
ninth. That's a dark horse.
What's the odds?
Plus 1,800.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now
United
tell me
States is
why.
plus 13,000.
That'll pay my rent. Let's go.
That Kevin De Bruyne that you just one of the top 5 players
He's a
in
star.
this. He's an absolute star. They've got a guy named Eden Hazard who's also a star.
Are there any other
He's
Hazards
trying
there?
to.
I used to love the
He's just
Dukes
got
of
the
Hazard.
brother-
That was one of my
yeah,
favorite
He's got a
shows.
brother. I don't know if he's on the roster or not.
Lukaku healthy?
They've
What did you just say?
You heard me.
What did you say it again?
Lukaku.
I don't know. My Kaku's a little bit.
It's like Marco's back
Right,
door.
useless. Hey, what's the U.S.
Oh, it's
and
lots.
what's Mexico?
United States is 13,000.
What?
Mexico unlisted. No, 13,000 as well. I was just joking. They're the same.
Mexico's not as good as the United States, are they?
I don't think they are right now, but
You're biased.
it's the World Cup, man. I mean, like weird things happen in these group stage games because one bad result. You want a real dark horse?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I fucking asked for. Yes.
This is a long shot, but
What?
Uruguay.
What's the number? Give me the
They've-
number on them.
They've got star
4,000.
players.
I'm putting fucking money on us.
What's
Don't
that?
fuck me on
4,000.
this.
So there's a long. You put just put a little bit, just
I'm
a
not
little
gonna
bit.
go. I've been,
But they
I'll take a bite out of you if you don't want to.
they're tough. They fight for everything. It's a smaller country in South America. They've won 2 World Cups in their history.
Is Suarez still there, right?
I don't believe he's on the roster this time around.
He's
but-
the guy
You know this fucking guy's betting. So you know.
That's
Already got 15 on
I mean, like Belgium's not that big of a dark horse. Like people,
But 1,800
they're
plus
top,
1,800.
but they're a top 10 team. Uruguay's probably outside of that. Like you talk about a long shot. So like in terms of those long shots, last World Cup it was Croatia. Croatia made it all the way
run.
to the final, and they had a chance to beat. They've got the best midfield in this World Cup. Croatia, but the rest of their team's not.
Do they give the
great.
fucking golden boot for this thing?
Yep. There's a
So
golden
who
boot.
give me a dark?
Croatia's 5,000.
Give me someone I can bet on to win the golden boot.
Well, my pick for Golden Boot was Lionel Messi, but I think this is going to
I
be
don't
the
think that's
Messi.
good numbers.
I think this is going to be the Messi World Cup. I'm picking Argentina to win it. The one thing that's missing on his resume as the greatest player in the history of the world is he's never won a World
And
Cup.
how close has he been?
They made a final.
Yeah, they made
Okay.
a final. They got absolutely smoked by Germany, like 7-1.
Brought to you by CBD American Shaman.
Yeah. So, and this has got to be his last one. I mean,
How old is he?
He's got to be 32, 33.
Yeah, middle 30s probably at this point. Yeah.
But you thought when I asked you who the number 1 player was, you guessed. You still think he might be?
I mean, he's
That's what you
he's
guessed.
amazing.
He's still playing, and I think he's going to be inspired. And what they've done is
35.
they finally
He's
put
35.
yeah.
but they finally put a team around him that sets him up for the most success. The way that Argentina plays right now, they surrounded him with other midfielders that will do all of the heavy lifting.
So do you like him?
I love Messi.
Okay.
There's a metaphor I heard one time that you might like about soccer players, particularly in the midfield. I can't remember which player said this, but he said, on the soccer field, you have 2 types of people. You have piano players and piano carriers. And he's a piano player. He's the guy that makes the beautiful music and expresses himself on the field.
They need carriers.
He needs 3 piano carriers around him to go do all the work and get him the ball. They've got that this time around. They've got the right type of team to play around Messi. So so you can now write Argentina off. 'Cause
I'll give
I've
you
got
a
him going
quick
to the final.
example of how much money he was worth. His contract that just expired last year was 4 years, $674 million contract he had with Barcelona.
That's tip money.
Yeah, well, that's what it was, tip money. And that's why Barcelona's broke, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now to wrap this up, just in case we missed anything, tell people if they're going to be tuning in to this, and we'll try to do another one after the group stage. We'll
Sure.
get the knockout round. Tell people a couple of things, and you too, with your fucking glaring at me over there to hurry up and finish this. I feel that the weight of your stare, like hurry up, I gotta go. I'm gonna
fine.
wrap it up for you.
I'm good.
Okay. Tell people again, give us some things to look for that you're excited about in the group stage in the first week, and tell us about the watch parties and everything. How if somebody says, you know what, fuck this, I've never been a part of this. I'm gonna immerse myself in the World Cup. I want to have fun. I'm in Rome. I want to do as the Romans do. I want to throw myself into the World Cup. Tell them what they can do here. Let's go.
So the biggest thing, you mentioned the World Cup watch parties. If you remember back in 2019 when the women's team was going on to win the World Cup in
It
France.
was wild.
And it was on Fox, and it was shown all over the world. Our watch parties were shown all over the world. Fox knows about us, so they've already got a camera coming. If we have great watch parties, which we will, they're going to be showing us. So even if you don't come down to the Power and Light District, watch the USA games because you'll see your hometown being represented on a global scale.
Can you get Hartzell to come out of his shell on stage?
Yeah, well,
maybe
I'll
once?
try. He's a really reserved, kind
Right.
of shy guy. But I'll be dressed as an idiot in some kind of weird, obnoxious, patriotic stuff, waving a flag around on stage and having fun. Get your tickets; they're free, but you have to have a ticket to get in. So just go to because they're doing it the way they didn't used to do that, but it's kind of like
Marco
they do
didn't like
hot
that.
country nights now, where they're going to empty the place out like 2 hours before the game. And you got
Control
to
it.
come back in with your tickets so they can make sure nobody's got any weapons or anything like that, and everything's good. But the tickets are free, so you just go to sportingkc.com. You can download your tickets here. You can take up to 6 tickets. So for your family, so get those and come down Monday at 1:00
And-
against
and
Wales.
Don't be fucking getting there at 12:45.
No.
no,
Right.
no, don't try that. That won't work for you. especially Friday, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving against England's going to be absolutely bonkers. And then the next Tuesday against Iran, all the games are at 1 o'clock. Easy to remember, the USA kickoff times are all at 1 o'clock. To me, the sales pitch I would give you is this. Watch these games and get into the way that each team identifies itself on the field. You see this, the cultures of these. The thing that caught me about the World Cup was the culture and history of the countries come out in the way the teams play. If you look at this American team, to me, like the way I view this country, we're from everywhere, right? People come from all kinds of racial backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds. We're this massive country. If you grew up in San Francisco, it's very different than growing up in a small town in Texas.
You grew up on a lake.
I grew up on a lake,
right.
you know. You grew up in prison, you know, all these
That's
things,
right,
you know.
I did.
So, and that's what the United States is. You've got African American players, you've got sons of immigrants, you've got Mexican American players, you got guys that are as white as me. And they're from all over the country, and they come together like Americans do and make this really unique style of brash, confident soccer. If you watch the English, they beat each other down with negativity all the time. It's just kind of what they do. If you watch the Brazilians, they're known for this amazing expressiveness and freedom that they play with. They try things on the field that other teams would be afraid to try and screw up. If you watch the Germans, very organized. Everybody's disciplined. They're well drilled. You know, that's the kind of sensibility. That's how they see the game. You watch the Japanese play. They are quick and they run their asses off. I mean, they just run all over the place and they outwork people, and it's in their culture, you know, and no stars on the Japanese team because it's all about the group. So every one of these teams, like, you'll get to know about these countries by watching it, and I think that's really a cool thing. So just watch for that when you're, you know, see it, and you'll see some teams like, I like what that country's about. I don't like what that country's about. You know, those types of things. I think that's really cool that's my favorite part about the World Cup.
Here's what I want you to do. Next Tuesday, the 22nd, 10 bells, right after your show's over, Mexico, Poland. I want you guys to watch that game together.
Fuck you.
What?
No.
What?
No, because Mexico's going to lose. No.
I don't know that that's true, man. I don't feel any better about Poland than you do Mexico. Poland has Lewandowski. He's one of the greatest players in the world, but he gets left all by him. It's a team game. He gets left all by himself up top and doesn't get any chances to score. That's what happened last World Cup. Poland was terrible the last World Cup. So
hey, they're in it. But hey, you just, Italy's not even in this thing, right? I mean,
Italy didn't make it.
What happened? What the fuck?
They didn't get to qualify. It's fucking
failed.
hard to qualify in Europe, man.
Well, and the Netherlands is in it this time around. They missed it last time, and they're one of the supposed powers. It's hard to qualify in Europe. All the teams are good in Europe, so qualifying is tough.
And let's be honest, one of the things that's going to, I think, help the entertainment value of the World Cup is that we could fucking gamble on this thing.
Oh, yes.
We could put
get
some money on this
it,
shit.
then you'll really
I can
care.
do fucking parlays.
Yeah.
I could fucking bet on all
and you know what?
bets.
And
I'm not kidding, right?
This is because you can bet on a draw, right? And if you get to where it's like the third game of the group stage where you know teams just kind of need a draw, a wink, wink, nudge, nudge draw, dude.
Is anyone doing a player pool, like a fantasy soccer deal?
Marco is.
I'm in one, so yeah.
So how's that work?
McCourt and I drafted together.
So like, well, how many players you draft?
Let's see, who do we got? Connell just. I think we have 8 total.
Who's Connell going to root for here?
He's rooting for the Yanks. You know,
good. I'm glad we got him.
Ireland's not in this.
I know
so.
we got him.
Yeah,
we got.
You want to gamble on a bunch of fucking games with me?
Sure, let's gamble.
That'd be fantastic.
I'm on DraftKings right now.
I've got.
I'm throwing $100 on Saudi Arabia to win it all. I mean, it's pay off big if it happens.
You know, what's $100 to you? That's lunch.
It's nothing.
That's
not even lunch.
That's a quick lunch.
We have 10 players, two defenses.
Nate has no idea
defenses.
of his team, but that's okay. So you get 2. I like that.
We got Lewandowski with our first.
Who
pick.
are your defenses?
So we got Ecuador and Japan. I'm not crazy about that, but we took them late. So
You have anyone from the United States?
No, we don't have anybody from the United States.
Like your team.
Yeah.
All right.
We tried to take guys we thought would advance far.
Okay, so, whoa.
I like the United States to make it to the knockout rounds, but that's it.
Okay.
It's just like the NCAA tournament player pool. You want some people going to get down to the Elite Eight or something.
But, okay, so if final question. If the Americans don't make it past the group stage, how big of a disaster is that? Or is it?
It's a big disappointment.
Because it was a disaster when they didn't make it.
Yeah,
was
that's
that
a disaster. I won't call it a disaster. I'll call it a disappointment. It's a big
if they
disappointment.
go 0-3 with no draws or something, that would be a disaster.
Yeah, but it's a big disappointment if they don't advance. Like I told you, I mean, I think it's just slightly better than a coin flip of them over Wales. But I think this team has a chance to actually, like, the reason it's a big disappointment is because of the opportunity. If this team makes a run with the World Cup coming here in 4 years, and this young group of players is going to be back in their prime. The nucleus
is coming back. There you go. Okay, all right.
They're kind of considered the not ready for primetime players right now.
Coming to our
like,
soil.
hey, let's get some. But sometimes those teams can surprise people.
Right.
They make a run. Now you got 4 years of hype and excitement for the World Cup coming here. The World Cup being in the United States again is going to transform everything.
Are you going to try to go to any of those games?
I'll if I'm still around, yeah, absolutely.
If you're still around, well, we hope you are.
I don't take anything for granted.
Have they given out 2030 yet? Haven't sold that one yet?
No.
Okay.
Looking on who's going to take all the bribes.
Right. We have thank you to Marco Marquez for enjoying delicious food.
He put a hurting on that cheese dip.
Todd Lebo and Nate Bucati. My name is Stephen St. John. That has been Hot Mic with SSJ. Until next episode, the microphone is off.